Hi everybody, it's Barbara and this is the Home for Christmas Layout 1 from the Close to My Heart scrapbooking workshop, and we're going to start off with a little bit of prep. So take whatever white gloss spray you have. I believe that Close to My Heart is discontinuing some of this stuff, so either you have one from before or you can buy something similar at a store. Normally you would spray all of these little dots on to make snow, but mine is clogged. So this is what I do when one of mine gets clogged. I do not know how to unclog it. People have suggested different things and it hasn't worked for me. So I just use my finger and just tap it all over there and just get a lot of little snowflakes on. You might notice that I am not using the same side of the page as in the directions. I looked at that green and it wasn't working for me. I really thought that the embellishments that we had would pop out much better on a black background, and I loved this side of the paper. And you'll see later that because I use this side of the paper, it also makes the white glitter paper pop out that we're going to use on this too. So next up for prep is you're going to go ahead and you're going to do, with a white pen, you're going to go ahead and do some embellishments. So on the poinsettias, going to put a little white dot in the center. On the leaves, you're going to draw a line up the center of each leaf, and then you're going to just do those little branches off to the side. I just aim for the points that are already on that die cut. And then on the black shadow for the poinsettia, you go on the outline around each petal. You don't have to really go all the way to the middle of the flower because it's not going to show, because the red poinsettia is going to be over it. I just went close to the edge there. Now, if you, I'm using, I believe, a Sakura white pen. I'm not sure if Close to My Heart has a white pen anymore. When we changed our catalog, they've dropped off a lot of products that they don't make in their own factory, because they just felt that people were buying them elsewhere anyway. So we don't have quite the number of products as we used to, because they weren't made by Close to My Heart. And so they want to stick to what they do best. Now on this stocking, glue it down before you start doing your markings on it. And I'm just using the glue. So get a little bit of glue on all of that and flip that over and let it dry, probably longer than I did. I just started. Now here's where I made a mistake on the actual stocking that Close to My Heart does. They did fill in the top part here, but then I actually drew my stripes into the green. That's the background of this black stocking. And really, you're supposed to draw the stripes on the black. Now, it didn't matter in the long run. I just have more stripes than probably you will. But the stripes do go on the black and not in the green where I'm writing it right there. You can see. So I could have left it at the greens, but in the end, I just went back over and did it on the black to show you guys how it's actually supposed to look. It's on that black. So it didn't make one bit of difference, and nobody is ever going to know, right? And then down at the toe, you want to fill that in. And these do not have to be perfect at the top of the stocking and the bottom. It doesn't matter, because if you're going to use stickles on it later, it will not show, because it's just going to, your stickles will either be clear or white. And so what you drew on there, it won't matter, except just to provide a little background. So go back and do the rest of your flowers on the little berries. I just kind of made a little backward C on all of them, and I just kind of made it go the same direction as if the light was hitting all one side. And then right back to that black shadow poinsettia there. These are so pretty and delicate. I love them. I love them. I love that Close to My Heart has a machine that can cut these little tiny intricate designs. Oh man, that's awesome. I wish I had one. My Cricut's pretty intricate, but not quite as intricate as this. So this is a pretty expensive machine, I bet they have there. And I know they use it a lot because it can cut everything, including wood, and plastic. So it's a pretty awesome one. And then do the third set. You do not have to do any accents on that black branch, so don't worry about that one. And just finish up with the leaves and the black shadow flower. I don't know if any other word for that one. It really, that technically is it. It's actually the shadow, just to make that red pop out. And do a little background there. And these are all fun to do too. Now, of course, you could leave it without any accents if you want to, or if you don't have a white pen, it's no big deal. It's still going to look really pretty. All right, let's start to put all of this together. Again, I'm using the black side of the page, but you could use the green if you like that side better. Now, way back when I used to teach art, scrapbooking art pages, using the principles of art. And one of the principles was that you don't, always make everything so perfect. And so on this bottom one, I didn't like that the top and the bottom border were exactly the same distance from the edge of the page. And so what I did was on the bottom border, I put it at 3/8 of an inch up from the bottom to add a little variety. And at the top, I just did it the regular, which was a 1/4 inch down, I believe. And that it's a subtle thing, but it just makes a difference. It adds a little movement to the page, and it has some variety on the page. Because too much sameness, when your pages all match completely, boring. So we don't want to do that. So yeah, I did 3/8 of an inch up for the bottom, and on the second page I will too. And it just attracts the eye a little bit more. So, and basically that's centered. So if you're not a person that likes to do the ruler, you don't have to. I had a lot of trouble with my ruler this time because it's a see-through ruler, and I was using it on black paper on a black Versamat. So I had trouble actually seeing where the edge of the paper was. I should have been smart and just took my Versamat and set it aside for a minute while I was doing all of this, and then I would have had a white table underneath, and it would have been a lot easier to see the edge of those papers. But now on this is the glitter paper that I've added as an extra little special embellishment for you guys. If you want to do it, it makes everything pop off the page a little bit. What I did was I cut that just a 1/4 inch bigger than the pattern paper that's going to go down on it next. And instead of starting it at 3/4 of an inch away from the side, that's where the pattern paper is going to start. So what you do on this one is we did 5/8 of an inch from each side. And then it was 2.5 inches from the top of the page for this. And then you're going to put the pattern paper in the middle of it. But I, again, made a mistake. And so when I was measuring it, I went a little bit to the left. And so I had to kind of redo mine and make sure it was truly 5/8 of an inch from each side. And so that's what you see me doing here. Okay, now I've got it. So instead of using the really super, super busy side of the paper, I decided to go for the poinsettias because the poinsettias are more uniform and a nice pattern there and not so random as the other side of the paper. I thought it would not distract from my photos because for me, the photos are the star. And so I use that side instead. And then you've got this little cutout piece that was from the punch outs. And that I just centered. And one thing you might see there, I did forget, I had messed up on my editing. And I also put that black check strip down below. Now, it does not going to fit the whole length, so I centered it. That's because we've got the glitter paper there. So if you can see that black check paper, that did go under the little border piece that was a punch out. And then I went ahead and put on my mat. And the mat is 2 3/4 down from the top and 1 1/4 away from the side. I popped it up on pop tape. And then I did the same for this little journaling block, except I didn't put any pop tape or foam tape on the left-hand side of that so that it would kind of just lie one of them on that photo. without having an adhesive on it, and that way I can slip a photo underneath. But it adds more movement to the page if it's not off the photo, but if it's like layered on the photo like that, that adds more movement, which is another one of those principles of art. So then we put down that Home for the Holiday sticker, and that's about a 1/4 inch below the photo. And then now I'm popping up the stocking over that so that it kind of lays flat on the photo, but without adhesive. And then the pop dots are all off the photo, and popping that up. And then we've got our little piece, and this was kind of a pain, because it is so delicate. I had to use just little tiny bits of glue, so I had a little trouble with it sticking, but it is stuck now. So I've got it in the end. But you just want to kind of layer these little pieces under the branch, the little berries and the leaves. Put tiny, tiny little dots of glue. Get them where you want them. And I tried to put the whole piece together. Maybe that wasn't the wisest decision. Maybe I should have just glued down one branch at a time onto that journaling, and then just kind of layered it up that way instead of trying to put the whole flower together first. But it worked in the end, and it is stuck down on my final product there. So you can see I was just having a little bit of trouble with all that glue trying to get everything attached. And I think I lifted my finger up and it kind of came up with it. And so that was a bit of a pain. And then, now this is, it's not even a Stickles brand. It's just another brand I grabbed off my shelf. Again, no, not trying to sell Stickles to you because we don't sell that anymore. So whatever brand you like, I just did the toe and the top of the stocking there. And then one little tiny dot in that poinsettia. And there you go. Let's go on to page 2. You've already sprinkled the white gloss spray all over it. And now we're just going to do kind of the same things that we did on page 1. You're going to put the border at the bottom. Remember, we did that at about 3/8 inch up from the bottom. And you'll see this time I decided to put this on my white table, so it'd be so much easier for me to line up my ruler on. So you might want to do the same if you're using the black side there. The green side probably would be a little bit, will show up a little bit more with your ruler, but I just definitely got it right this time. Now, the one at the top was a 1/4 inch from the top, so just to add that variety, that movement on the page. So get your ruler. It's so nice to have a clear ruler for this. So I know we don't sell them anymore, but if you don't have an old Close to My Heart one, like I do, just go grab one at some kind of art supply store, or probably even just a local department store would have one too. Do they still call them department stores? For those on the Midwest, like a Meijer or a Target. Walmart, that kind of thing would probably have them too. All right. So then I flip that back around, and now it's time to add that glitter paper. And I believe we put that about 2 3/4 down from the top, and then 5/8 inch from each side. Use a lot of glue because it's a heavier paper. It's going to need a little bit more. And then when we put the pattern paper over it, you want to use a lot of glue because the glitter paper has a texture, and the glue really needs to sink into that. That might be you could try liquid glue with that too, or just any kind of a stronger glue might be better. But I just use my regular tape runner. It seems to be holding pretty well on that. So I'm measuring 5/8 of an inch from the side, and then 3 inch or 2 3/4 inch, I believe, from the top for that. The second page goes way faster than the first page because you already know what to do, right? I found it very interesting on this particular kit that they don't use a lot of the stickers, and they've got so many cute stickers on there. So when you're all done with this, take those scraps, and you have a good amount of them, and I believe I don't even remember if we have any extra full pages. It seemed like we did. But you can make a whole other page or two by stretching those scraps out a little bit on some background, and this would go great on white or black. So, use the rest of those stickers up on that. Or the other thing you can do with stickers is, just because they said to use certain stickers on these pages doesn't mean that you can't add extra ones, so that you don't have a nearly empty sticker sheet. We want a completely empty sticker sheet at the end. So get that poinsettia paper down, or if you like the other side, you can choose that. And then here on the second page, I filmed this in time because, remember, I made a mistake on the first page. So get your little strip down there. And it will not go the length of the glitter paper. So I think I did mine wrong. Look at that. I got a little gap at the right. I have to, I'm looking on my pages. Yep, I sure did. I have a little gap. So center that, and don't make the mistake I just did. So center that underneath. So now I'm going to have to go and clip one little side of mine to make it look right. So it probably won't completely match the first page, but you have have my hindsight here. So make sure you get that centered in there. So next I started to look at putting these photo mats down, and I measured the one in the middle, I think first, from the bottom, and left myself a little pencil line, and then I realized that they actually started on the left hand side with the small one. So that's the one you're going to want to measure first, and that first one is 4 inches up from the bottom and a 1/2 inch from the side. So you'll see me here measuring for my center one, but I just left a little pencil mark, and that made it easier once I did put down the first small photo, because I had already measured up from the bottom. So for that one, it was 3.5 inches up for the middle photo, and then 4 inches up for the left-hand photo, which I start to figure out here. And again, that's where this clear ruler really comes in handy. So, but remember, whenever you're doing these workshops, that you can make them your own. You don't have to do them the way that they do them. You can take all the parts and put your personality into it. I may have mentioned before, I'm starting to do more layouts where the photo is, the photos are all kind of in the middle a little bit more, and not spread out over the whole page, and then I decorate around them. And so that would be something I could have done easily with these, especially with those 2 border strips. I could have put those in the center along with my photos, and then just did all the decorations around them. I usually will pop up my photos when I'm going to do that, so I can do a lot of tucking under. But Close to My Heart does a more spread out look for the most part, that I've noticed that's their style, because they have an art department, and like anybody, we all have a style that we like, and so the people in the art department do a more spread out one. Probably also because people like to complain about not having enough pictures to go on, or to they have so many pictures and they want to fit them all on a layout. So I'm going to guess that Close to My Heart department hears that a lot, and so they said, well, we got to make sure we get a lot of photos on the layout. Whereas I see that the new style that's kind of coming out, the new trend, is to do 2 or 3 photos on a page, and sometimes even 1, and just highlight that. And that's kind of what I've been doing lately. But if you're a person that wants to get a lot of photos on there, these layouts work well for that, because I think we got, I don't remember, 4 photos on this 2-page layout. And if you wanted to, you could even put one over that journaling block and add one there. And then don't forget, flip flaps are always a way to add more photos. And then the next layout we're going to do has got 7 spots, and you could even tug more photos in that too. So I noticed once I put that on that it was a little bit off, and I don't like when things go crooked. So I'm just sitting here with my ruler, making sure that these things are straight on, because it bugs me otherwise. Does anybody else can relate to that? Or are you ones that just throw it on and it doesn't matter to you? Oh, I wish I could be like that. But that's what I'm doing here, is I'm just straightening mine up a little bit. Now, we don't have too much decorating left to do on here. we're going to have one sticker. Yeah, just one sticker for this layout, and or for this page of the layout at least. And you're going to be looking for your all wrapped up sticker. Oops, whoops, before we forget that, I forgot about the stars. You've got the little punch outs, and those just get centered under your photos. Totally forgot about the punch out. And they're so cute too. I love that on a Christmas layout like that, they kind of did the stars that almost look a little patriotic to me. But they definitely highlight those photos. So stick those on first, and then you're going to be looking for the all wrapped up sticker on your sticker sheet. And I believe that, yeah, I mean, I'm looking and there's maybe less than 10 stickers that we're using on this, something like that. So that's kind of funny. I decided to pop this up on some foam tape, just so that it'll go up, because I don't have my photos yet. That's one reason. And then I'm also going to use a little of my anti-static pouch, so that the part that lays on there on the photo won't stick to it. Although I have found, as I'm doing a lot of older layouts recently and sticking photos on them, that somehow a lot of that stickiness comes back, because I'm having to use my undo to lift these places where I thought I had powdered them really well, so that they didn't stick to the photo, and they end up sticking before I've actually put down a photo. So another option for that is to put down a piece of foam tape under the part that's going on the photo and not take the backing off. So then when you finally put your photo in, it will not have stuck down like this one might. All right, so now gather all those little poinsettias together. This time you're going to see the first one that I put down. I started with the flower, but we really start with the leaves and the berries first. Put those down first, then you don't have to tuck, you know. You can see that I've started with the flower there, but it was a lot easier when I made the second one here, to start with the berries and the leaves first. It didn't matter too much because I was using glue. I was able to kind of tuck that under real quick, but I'm going to recommend to you start with the leaves and the berries. And I just put a tiny, tiny bit of glue on this, and then I just tilted it. So you're not covering up that black. It's showing, just tilt it slightly. I think it's just to make it pop out on the background. But I don't know. I think it pops out way better on that black background than it does on the green. I think the black is really a better choice for this particular layout, to use the black pattern paper on it instead. So you see, I just tucked those a little bit. I lifted it since it hadn't totally dried yet. But if I had been using my runner, it would have been harder. So I got smart with the second one and decided to start with the leaves and the berries first. And make sure you put the glue on the right side, not the side that you already decorated so pretty. And it doesn't have to go in the exact place where Close to My Heart shows it. Put it where you want to. Make your photos the star, and they don't have to be overlapped with these elements if you don't want them to. If you have a bigger photo and you're going to go bigger than the mat, just move the embellishments around to where it works for your layout. Don't be a perfectionist about that. Okay, now I did it in the right order. Got my black down there and do the last little poinsettia. And I think the only thing we're going to use after this is just a little bit of the stickles, or whatever kind of type of stickle type embellishment glue you have, glitter glue. And I think the kind that I was using was called Pops. I got it free when I ordered something online, and it works just as well as any stickles. So whatever you have, use. And here's our whole 2-page layout. Isn't that beautiful? That's a nice color scheme, something different than the typical red and green, to have that black on there instead. And I think you can see those poinsettias were a better choice.